trying to drown me. I know about XRP, nothing to tell me. I ain't touching those coins, you can't sell me. Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and we're going to look at the top economic news, the top crypto news, the top Ripple versus Swell lawsuit news, top drama on Twitter, the top crypto knowledge, and yes, the top global news. Come on, everybody, let's go. Doom and gloom sells. We all know that. That's why so many channels, media, and Twitter tweets out there have those dire warnings. They want to get the eyeballs, meaning views. But the numbers for Black Friday, the online sales hit a record 9.2 billion, despite the high inflation. It sends some important messages. First, walking into brick and mortar stores is just not compelling. Spending the extra time, gas, and effort, I think many feel it's just not worth it. Secondly, I think safety is high on everybody's radar. And third, we're still spending. Even though a modest rise, it was a rise. We'll really see if this trend is going to stick around, because Monday, which is marketed as the season's biggest online shopping day, is expected to drive an additional $11 billion in sales. Stick to the numbers, not to the dire headlines. Attorney Stu Alderati tweeted out a primer. That means get ready, more to follow. He writes, as part of its continuous watchfulness over the SEC, Congress is entitled to information, including about investigations, to make sure that the agency is not abusing its limited power, nor diminishing Congress's role in shaping national policy. What is this information? Well, I think it's part of an investigation regarding the SEC in a reference to its abusing its power, diminishing the role of Congress. Pretty straightforward. But what could it be? I don't know. I believe it's something rather large. One can only speculate it's pretty powerful for the General Counsel of Ripple to put this out. This investigation could very well be centered around the Hinman emails, because the former director at the SEC, Hinman, received millions from the pro-Ethereum firm, and he willingly breached the directions provided by SEC's ethics office, which was confirmed by the Empower oversight. Jason Foster, the founder of the watchdog, spoke to Law 360 and has fully explained these conflicts. Now, if these conflicts are brought to Congress in a formal way, this could be a big game changer, completely change the power that the SEC believes it has. In the top crypto news, well, it's all playing out live on crypto Twitter. This is BitBoy Crypto in the Bahamas, filming outside Sam Bankman-Fried's residence and messaging him to talk to get his side of the story. The best interview that I've read so far was with Vox and Sam, which was in the form of a written exchange. So I'd love to see a sit-down discussion, as I think Ben would surely ask the hard-hitting questions. And Tiffany Fong, who is on Twitter and has a YouTube channel, I'll put links to both in the description below, she does have an open line of communication with Sam. She did upload an audio that is a portion of a phone call with Sam, saying that she respects his privacy and much of it is going to be kept off the record, but it looks like that might be a little more difficult than she thinks. Attorney John Deaton weighed in and said he thinks it's fair to say that she can expect a subpoena for the recording, assuming that she already hasn't received one. And when he says that she states she's not a journalist, which the government and others will argue is not protected. Thus, if her off-the-record discussion was recorded, well, it means that it was on the record. And to close out the drama on Twitter today, she responded that she's open to being subpoenaed, and she personally has nothing to hide and happy to go under oath. This next bit of information, which is really important knowledge for anybody in this space, comes from the Kraken Exchange co-founder and CEO Jesse Powell. He is truly an authentic OG in this space, and he wants to let everyone know that you just can't glimpse at a wallet balance and say that you have seen the proof of reserves. It really doesn't mean anything because proof of reserves needs to include the audited amount of liabilities. So reserve and liabilities, those negative balances, with cryptographic proof that you are looking at something that is verifiable, is necessary. And then you need the signatures proving that the custodian has control of those wallets. Otherwise, what you're looking at is just a balance pulled out of thin air. And finally, in looking at today's top global news, it's the extraordinary demonstrations that are occurring throughout China. This zero COVID lockdown, some areas that have been under an extreme lockdown for more than 3 months, is finally getting to a point where people have had enough. And despite the censoring and the difficulty to confirm the actual number of demonstrations, this picture is coming from Stephen McDonnell. He is a correspondent located in China, formerly with the Australian news agency. And I think this is something you really want to pay attention to because it appears to be spreading. And this could lead to an unprecedented challenge to the controlling powers. Civil disobedience could evolve into another Tiananmen Square. All right, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff. This is Hiroko Imada, and she is doing some cool stuff. She's been living in London for 30 years, and she has done a collaboration with the Doc Martens company. Of course, that is the famous boot company in London. Hiroko is a woodblock artist, and so they consulted with her when they used the Japanese woodblock artist from the 1700s, Hokusai. And of course, you recognize this pattern. This is the Great Wave of Kanagawa. And they put them on their boots. I just love these. And they're selling for about 169 British pounds. You can get 15 British pounds off your first order. So that's roughly 180 US dollars. They're doing another shoe style and also a backpack. And yes, you can get this shipped to anywhere around the world. And this is the backpack. So this first collaboration also is with the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or the Met. Wow, it's just such an interesting global world. And just about 15 minutes from now, I'm going to be able to watch the Japan versus Costa Rica soccer game. I'm very excited. Yeah, I am a huge sports fan. But when we get down to any sort of final, whether it be March Madness or NFL, Super Bowl, or what have you, I am all fan. And if you caught my last video, I showed where the Qatar people in the stadium were so surprised that the Japanese fans were cleaning up the stadium before they left. Well, I also found that the dressing room for the Japan soccer team was also photographed because they couldn't believe how they left it neat as a pin. Yeah, I think this is really starting to get out of control. The Japanese are really setting the standard very high. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.